You know that feeling, right? When you're part of a project that feels less like a well-oiled machine and more like a barely controlled explosion? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to unpack the blueprint for getting from that kind of chaos to a true masterpiece. It's all about becoming the architect of your own success.
And this is what that chaos feels like. Deadlines are just flying by. Tasks are piling up higher and higher, and it feels like nobody really knows what's supposed to happen next. It's just stressful. It's inefficient. And honestly, it's the fastest way for a project to completely fall apart. This is exactly what happens when you try to build something amazing without a blueprint.
So I want you to think for a second. That project you're working on right now, is it a masterpiece in the making, moving with purpose and clarity? Or does it feel more like a chaotic scramble to the finish line? Your answer to that question tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the foundation you've built or the one you might be missing.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you've got the chaos, missed deadlines, that constant grinding stress, and just total confusion. But on the other side, that's the masterpiece. Clarity, control, and ultimately success. And you know the biggest difference between these two isn't luck or magic. It's structure. It's having a plan.
Okay, so how do we get from chaos to masterpiece? We start with the single most important tool any architect has. And no, it's not some fancy software, it's not a massive budget, it's the plan. This is where we stop just hoping for things to work out and we start actually engineering our success.
It's such a simple sentence, but man, this is the absolute truth for any project, big or small. A great plan isn't just some document you file away, it's a living thing. It's a shared understanding, a roadmap that the whole team can look at and say, okay, I get it, I know where we're going.
So what actually goes into a great plan? Well, think about it like this. Before you can even start to draw a map, you have to know your destination, right? It all kicks off with one thing: defining a clear, powerful project objective. This is step one. It's completely non-negotiable.
Your objective needs to be a sharp, clear statement. It's not some vague wish like, I hope we do a good job. No, it's a declaration. It's, this is what we will accomplish, and this is what the final thing will be. You can think of it like the North Star for your project. Whenever you get lost in the weeds and the daily tasks, you just look up at that objective and it gets you right back on track.
And to build that North Star, you've got to ask some really specific questions. Like, what does done and successful actually look like? Paint a picture of it. Who are we even doing this for? And maybe the most important one, if we could only achieve one single thing with this project, what would it be? Answering these questions with brutal honesty is what gives your objective its power.
All right, you know your destination. Now it's time to actually map out the journey. This is such a critical phase because it's where we take that big, exciting objective and turn it into a real, practical roadmap that people can actually follow.
And it really comes down to a simple two-step process. First, we take that big final thing we're trying to build, our deliverable, and we break it down into smaller, bite-sized pieces. Then, and only after we've done that, do we start putting those pieces on a calendar and creating a realistic schedule.
This is the secret to not getting totally overwhelmed. You know, a huge task like build a new website, that's kind of terrifying. It's hard to know where to start. But what about tasks like design the homepage, or write the About Us page, or set up the server? See, those feel doable. You're not trying to move a whole mountain at once, you're just moving one stone at a time. So we've set our destination and we've mapped out the journey. But why does all this planning actually matter? What's the point? Well, it all leads to the ultimate payoff, the entire reason we bother making a blueprint in the first place: achieving real honest-to-goodness project clarity. And here it is. This is the payoff. The goal was never to just have a pretty plan sitting in a folder. The goal is to give you the power to see and manage the entire project, from the very first day all the way to the finish line. It's all about taking back control from the chaos. Before you have that plan, your brain and your project probably looks a lot like this. Just a chaotic mess of words, deadlines, tasks, meetings, goals, all overlapping and competing for your attention. It's just noise, and it feels impossible to know where to even begin.
But once you've architected your plan, you transform all of that chaos into this. All the same pieces are still there, but now they have order, they have a purpose, they have a place. This is so much more than just being organized. This is what a well-planned project feels like. It's calm, It's focused, and it is incredibly powerful. So now the blueprint is in your hands. You have the tools to define your destination, to break down the work, and to build a real schedule. You now have the power to turn that chaos into clarity. So the only real question left is, what masterpiece are you going to architect next?